The poet Madeleine L'Engle writes, "This is no time for a child to be born with the earth betrayed by war and hate, and a comet slashing the sky to warn that time runs out and the sun burns late. That was no time for a child to be born in a land in the crushing grip of Rome. Honor and truth were trampled to scorn, yet here did the Savior make his home. When is the time for love to be born? The inn is full on planet Earth, and by a comet the sky is torn. Yet love still takes the risk of birth." This story is mostly true, or it's more or less true, or it's at least as true as the story of Luke's telling of the Jesus birth narrative. Every night a child is born is a holy night. The night is cold and dark, and Isla shivers as she grabs her partner's hand. They've been waiting for weeks for this baby to be born, and at this point, Isla is convinced that she's going to be pregnant forever. She can't sleep through the night without pain, she can't eat without heartburn, and she can't reach her feet to put her shoes on. Zane bends down and slips her sneakers on for her. They're going to try another walk. This time she's going to walk on the curb, 1 foot up, 1 foot down, because that's supposed to help induce labor, apparently. Fine, whatever. She's about 3 seconds away from drinking castor oil, but she guesses she'll try curb walking first. Zane watches Isla wobble to the door of the apartment and rubs their face. Isla has been so irritable, which of course Zane understands, but they're a little afraid to say anything to her at this point. They're just trying to be helpful and do what Isla asks and stay out of the way as much as possible. Of course, Zane would be irritated too if their belly had a watermelon in it and they couldn't sleep or move normally and every muscle ached. The young couple make their way out into the night. Zane looks up at the stars and sees a puff of their breath wander out into the night, out into eternity. They wonder if that's how the spirit works, coming into and leaving bodies. Is it like the molecules of breath they can see floating up and either dissipating out into the universe or condensing into a cloud of being human? Isla sees Zane staring up at the night sky and she sighs. She has always loved how much of a dreamer Zane is, but right now, she needs for them to be with her in this material reality. Tonight is for incarnation Zane. She tugs their hand as she struggles to get herself over to the curb. They walk there together for a while, Isla wobbling up and down the curb, right foot on, left foot off. Another moonlit walk of just trying to coax this baby earthside. Their hands feel comforting, holding one another in the quiet night. Then Isla feels something different, kind of like a pop. It's not a contraction. She's been having Braxton Hicks for days. This feels like something else. Then she starts to feel water, and she turns to Zane and says, "It's time, it's time, my love." They go back inside, and Zane calls the midwife, and Isla keeps walking around, trying to figure out where her body wants to be and how. Sitting, that's no good. Walking, that's okay, but when the contractions come, she discovers that she likes the lean the best. A walk, and then a pause, and then a lean. A pause, and then a lean, and then a pause, and breath. The midwife is on her way, Zane calls and brings Isla a glass of water. She waves it away and just grabs their hand. Come here, she says. I need you. And together they find the rhythm. Isla walking around, and then when the contractions come, leaning against couch or chair or dresser, and Zane wrapping their arms around her, holding her as she rocks and breathes. This goes on for a while, and Zane reconsiders the meaning of eternity. They are both in outside of time, kairos time, where there is nothing but the immediate, the body, the pain, the next breath. Time, it stretches and bends with them, and they are in that place that floats between the worlds, waiting as a ship ferries souls across the river in both directions. And the river just keeps flowing. Right now, their job is to stand in its water and be washed over and to breathe. At some point in this pummeling river between worlds, the contractions speed up, and finally the midwife says to them, it's time to push. Isla is scared. She's been okay through the contractions, not great, that ish hurts. But this is the part she's been scared of since the moment she got pregnant. She and Zane, they went through so much trying to conceive, and they've been so scared of the hate that's been amping up for queer families and trans people, and what will happen to their baby once it arrives earthside in this messed up world. But this pushing the baby out, this is what really terrifies her. What if she can't do it? What if her body isn't strong enough? What if something bad happens? I mean, bad things happen. Isla stumbles a little bit as she's heading towards the bed, and when she stumbles, Zane catches her. Zane catches her, just like they always do. Zane's got her, Isla remembers. They're in this together. She's not alone, and she reaches for Zane's hand, and then she tunes back into her body. And there, with Zane by her side, she finds the way forward. The next few minutes feel like hours, feel like a flash in the night, feel like eternity and a moment all at once. And then through the blood and the pain and the labor and the love, a tiny cry pierces the night. The midwife catches the baby and throws her onto Isla's chest, wailing, big lungs announcing herself. And Zane is wrapped around Isla's shoulders, eyes wide, breathing hard, laughing and crying, and in total awe of this new human being come earthside to share their lives. Love, once again, taking the risk of birth. May it be so.